Welcome back to Headlines and Heartlines. I am your host, Vanessa Brazier, owner and publisher of Bluebonnet News of Texas. Today I'm joined by Ken DeFoor, a man whose career has been defined by service. He is another person who wears so many hats that would have a hard time keeping up with them. He has served as a detective for Houston Police Department.
Homicide detective, Houston Police Department.
And he also led Dayton Police Department as a chief for a while.
That's correct, 1984.
And then he retired from Liberty County Sheriff's Office as a captain.
Well, I semi-retired.
I'm still
He's still there as a reserve.
Okay, he's still here. Okay, he still works for Liberty County as a reserve officer, and he does a lot of the honor guard details. He also is a volunteer for Texas EquuSearch, and a lot of people may not, well, most people know what Texas EquuSearch is. It's the organization that was founded to help locate missing people. And sometimes they are crime victims, but sometimes they're just missing and they're recovered safely.
That's correct.
But either way, the family needs answers, so I'm very thankful for that organization. Tim is also a member of the Dayton Rotary Club and and he's a volunteer for the Dayton Historical Society. He and his wife Jo do this together. She said she is his Velcro wife, because if you find Ken, you see Jo right there, or vice versa. So I just want to say thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure, Vanessa.
I don't know if I mentioned that you're a handwriting analyst. I guess I should mention that too.
Well, I have done that in the past. I certainly have for a number of years. Handwriting personality traits and forgeries.
I don't know if I want him to look at mine. He's done mine before.
Forgeries, false forgeries, signatures and so forth. So a lot of that's rolled into one.
See, I find myself drawn to, before we get into all this, I watch a lot of those, the people that watch body movements and facial
body language.
There's a guy on there, Jose, and I watch him, and he's the body language guy. And I watch that show over and over on YouTube because you learn so much from all the different. He watches interviews like of the people in the news and people in high profile positions, and then he makes an analysis of their behavior, and it's fascinating to me that you can pick up.
It's a fascinating subject. It is.
Yeah, you can pick up just from the way someone raises their eyebrow, from hand movements, from just every little thing.
Exactly right.
And so I guess it ties into the handwriting analysis and the personality analysis. They kind of all.
It does. Our handwriting is developed early in stages of our lives, whether we know it or not. And it is actually a movement that's motivated by mental capabilities. Mm-hmm. It's a handwriting instrument that you put in your hand, and by those strokes, abbreviations, punctuations, and so forth, you can tell an awful lot about somebody's personality.
Well, my handwriting has changed greatly over the years. My handwriting back when I was in my 20s was very flowery, very, very feminine. I was on the UIL spelling team, so we had to have everything, written just so in cursive. And now, after being a journalist for 20, 30 years, it's kind of fallen apart.
Well, the configuration of your letter formations may have changed.
Yeah.
But when you look at it in an analytical way, the slant, the formations of the endings and beginning of the strokes will remain the same.
Yeah.
And the overall structure of the writing may have changed with years, but there are characteristics and things there that will never change because it was there from birth, and it will be there forever.
Well, before I took an iPad to court hearings, I'd have to take a notepad and write everything down quickly. And I think that altered my handwriting over the years because I had to do everything quickly. So I learned how to do my own little version of shorthand.
It could be.
So I do a half print, half cursive. And I don't know what that says about me, but it's half print, half cursive.
That is the indication of a very inquisitive individual.
Oh, that's been my curse all my life.
It's perfect for a reporter.
My grandmother, when I was like 7, my paternal grandmother, when I was 7 years old, gave me a bottle of perfume called Inquisitive. And I remember standing there looking up at her, and she was a little bitty lady. She was like 5'3" or 4. I remember looking up at her going, "Grandma, what does this mean?" Da, 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 da. She just looks down at me and she shakes her head and she goes, "That." She points to me like, "That. That's what that means." My sister got angelic. I didn't get angelic. I got inquisitive.
Well, you're in your correct career
I
field for that. You're
suppose.
absolutely perfectly
I
fitted for it.
suppose, but man, oh man, sometimes it gets me in trouble. Cats have 9 lives. I only have one.
But it's a tremendous one,
It's been wonderful. I've been very blessed.
haven't we all?
So let's talk a little bit about the early years. Where did you grow up?
Well, my mother and father were rice farmers back in the 1920s and 30s, and they did a little rice farming here in Liberty. But when
Liberty County?
Liberty County.
Okay.
But when I decided to come along, we had a farm in Sugar Land, Texas. And my mother happened to be at that farm the day I decided to make my entry into the world, and she went to a Sugar Land hospital. So I was born in Sugar Land, Texas, but we actually lived in Cloverleaf, which is about 20 or 25 miles west of us here near Channelview.
Okay.
And I
And
grew
what were your
up.
parents' names?
My mother's name was Lona, and my father's name was Tant.
Tant. T-A-N-T?
T-A-N-T.
And your mother's, how do you spell that, Lana?
L-O-N-A.
L-O-N-A. Okay. DeFoor. And the name DeFoor, where does that come from?
Well, for several years, I thought it came from Louisiana.
Yeah.
But I was giving a helicopter presentation to a Houston Rotary Club one day, and after the presentation, a gentleman came up to me and says, "Do you know the origin of your name?" I said, "Yes, sir, it's French, it's Louisiana." And he says, "No," he says, "I am an authority on the origin of the name." And he says, "Your name is not from Louisiana, it's Dutch.
Dutch.
It's Dutch." And he says there's no double O in a French name. So I guess it's
that's
Dutch.
true. Yeah. That's interesting. You went your whole life thinking one thing.
Yeah. And my wife probably wouldn't argue with the fact of a hard-headed Dutchman. So I guess it's appropriate.
It's appropriate. Okay. All right, were you? How many siblings were there in your family?
I'm the youngest of 5 boys. My 2 older brothers were Navy pilots. The other 2 all 4 brothers were in World War II. My oldest brother was a fighter pilot. He was shot down and killed over Iwo Jima.
What was his first name?
Connor.
Conard.
And my next to the oldest brother was a dive bomber pilot, and he also was lost in the Second World War. As a result of the Sullivan Act, which became effective in World War II, I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, 5 brothers were lost on the same ship. Congress passed the Sullivan Act where if 2 or more was killed out of one family, no more could go overseas. They could serve in the military, they just couldn't go overseas. As I came along, I was kind of the age between wars, so I joined the Air Force 147th Fighter Bomber Squadron at Ellington Air Force Base, and my other 2 brothers stayed stateside during the war.
Who were they? What were their names?
One was Douglas, the other was John.
Are any of them still living?
No, I'm the
You're the
last
last
of the
one.
Mohicans. Yes, ma'am.
And you're how old now, Ken? Is it okay to ask?
It's absolutely. I'm 89.
89. It's still pushing and going.
And come January, I'll be 90. So
It's amazing.
90 is fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
And you don't even look it.
Well, thank you. You just made my day.
Yeah.
Joe and I still
most
ride
people
a-
would say 70s.
Well, Joe and I still ride our motorcycle and play with our antique cars. So we're active in volunteer organizations.
Yeah.
We've been blessed with good health, and the good Lord's been good to us both in health and career fields. So we have no complaints coming.
So, did your family eventually move back to this area, or did they stay in Cloverleaf?
We stayed in Cloverleaf for many, many years, and I went to Cloverleaf Elementary School, played on the first little barefoot football team there.
Oh, gosh.
And later on went to Woodland Acres Junior High School and graduated from
Wood Lakers?
Woodland Acres.
Oh, Woodland Acres. Okay.
And later graduated from Galena Park High School in 1956.
Oh,
So
that's been a while.
it's been a while.
Yeah,
Been in law enforcement now. I'm into my 69th year.
that's amazing.
Well, I graduated from the Houston Police Academy in April of 1958.
Isn't that a record of some sort? Shouldn't it be?
Well, it probably is. I don't know if it's a record you want to
Pursue?
Pursue
Yeah.
that you have or not, but
Yeah.
it may be some kind of a record.
Yeah. So, was there a particular event or person in your young life that wanted you to go toward law enforcement or encouraged you to go toward law enforcement?
Not really, Vanessa. There was not. I tell you what drove that, and it's almost the standard answer when you ask anyone in a public service field that question. They'll almost give you the same answer, and it's the same answer that I have. It's you have a desire to serve the public.
Yeah.
It's almost a common response. When I first came out of high school, I was a machinist, making the grand total of $1.25 an hour working night
Wow.
shift in 1958,
Wow.
56. So then I later became an apprentice pipe fitter.
Yeah.
And God bless them, there's a field for those people, but it just wasn't my field.
Yeah.
And I wanted something. I would watch television in the evening. I would see the newscast. I would see the police officers working an accident or wreck or a shooting situation. And it seemed like they were doing something that was totally productive, that you could put your hands on and say, well, maybe I helped that person.
Yeah.
And it was something that I started wanting to do. It looked like a job that was interesting. You're not tied to a desk or a machine. You're moving around the city. You see a lot of things. You do a lot of things.
A lot of experiences.
A lot of experiences. And in the end, hopefully and prayerfully, you help a lot of people.
At what point in your life did Joe enter the picture?
53 wonderful years ago, and it's still like a honeymoon.
Aw. Where did y'all meet?
Oh, we met through some friends
At
Exxon, and it just blossomed from there.
And you saw this cute little blonde.
Oh, she just rolled me over, just
yeah.
knocked me out of my socks. And I can't do anything without her. I'm real proud of her. In 2012, she was elected here in Dayton as the Volunteer of the Year for Dayton. And she was given an award. And
He remembers the dates and everything.
well, of course I do.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of Jo. She's my rock. She's what keeps me going.
Yeah. Joe, did you work outside the helm too, or was he your job?
I worked for Exxon.
She worked for
35
Exxon.
years.
Okay.
I retired
35
in
years.
01,
35. Yeah. and then now he's your full-time job.
full time.
Oof, Lord.
And overtime.
And overtime. So let's talk about starting with Houston PD. I guess you went in as a rookie cop.
Well, when you graduate from the academy, you come out as a patrol officer. I worked patrol for a number of years with a partner, and then they came to me and wanted to make a crime scene investigator out of me, which is a one-man unit. You take fingerprints, photographs of homicide scenes and so forth, burglary scenes and so forth. I reluctantly took that because I enjoyed patrol. You made everything every night. Murders, robberies, rapes, thefts, every kind of offense in the world. And as a crime scene investigator, much like the name implies, it's crime scene. You're at the scene.
That can be a gruesome job.
Well, it can. Yeah, part of the job was going to the morgue over at Bentop Hospital and fingerprinting the deceased individuals from shootings and cuttings. And so I evolved from that. I took the detective examination in the Houston Police Department at that time. The rank of sergeant and detective was exactly the same. I had no desire to be a sergeant because that would put you back in uniform and back on the streets. I wanted to be an investigator. So I took the detective examination. There were a little over 300 of us that took the examination, and I was blessed enough to come out number one on it. So I knew
How many
I was
were in
going-
there? 3? No, I'm teasing.
Yes.
300?
Over 300 took the exam. But that entailed studying. We had 6 very large books. It's a public service, of course, with the city of Houston. And they give you 6 large books that you have to study,
Oh,
and your
gosh.
questions come out of that. It deals with administration. It deals with public
Psychology.
service.
And you were doing this while
the
working
penal
full
code,
time.
and investigations, so it covers a wide range of subjects.
Yeah.
So when you take the exam, it's grueling. I've slept about 4 hours a day for a year. Did not go on vacation, and I got the promotion plus an ulcer from it. And the doctor told me, says, I can get rid of the ulcer, I just can't get rid of what caused it.
Yeah.
So after studying laboriously for a year, I was blessed enough to come out number one.
It's amazing when you look back on surviving those things that you've done in your life. Because I remember when I was going to college and working and breastfeeding and doing all of it at the same time, and I was a full-time college student. And I just remember, I don't know how I did that now. I wouldn't have the energy now to do half of it.
Well, that's the good thing about nature.
Yeah.
You know, I have this little saying that I've kind of come up with, I guess, myself. I kind of bristle just a little bit when people walk up and say, hello, old man, or old woman, or old
Yeah.
lady. That just does not set with me. You know, to me, and my philosophy is, getting older is biological.
Yeah.
You can't help that. Getting old is psychological.
Yeah.
If you think you're old, you're going to be old.
Yeah.
And just like you said, how did you do all those things then?
Yeah.
Well, the good Lord knew how to program our bodies
He
that we
did.
could handle it then. And now we just need to maybe kick back and rest.
And
a little
maybe
bit.
enjoy it. Enjoy the
Enjoy
fact
it.
that we did it and we
And
accomplished it. So
absolutely.
it's like, and my daughter's going through that right now. She's a full-time employee, and you know she works at First Liberty, and she's also a full-time college student and takes care of 2 kids. And it's a grind. It can be a real grind, and then you look back later and you go, I did it. You know, I did it.
Exactly right.
But it takes a lot of willpower to push through when you're tired. You must have been exhausted at times when you're working full-time and then have to go home and then cram 6 volumes of information into your head for classes.
Well, I admire what you're doing right now because I don't think I could stay up with you. You're like Chicken Man. You're everywhere all the time.
I have to be.
You're still doing wonders.
Yeah. So what was Houston like back then in the day?
Well, the way you phrase that question, let me say this.
Yeah.
I've had so many people come up to me and say, oh, crime is so much terrible now than what it used to be back in the days.
Yeah.
Trust me, there was not one iota worth of difference. The difference is social media.
Oh, knowledge of it then.
The knowledge of it. We had every night murder cases, stabbing cases,
Yeah.
suicides, rape cases, robbery cases, every single night, car chases. It just wasn't publicized like it
Yeah.
is now. Everybody has a camera on their phone. It's documented. You have Facebook, you have social media, and we had limited news outlets at that time. They had their deadlines, and by the time the deadline came up, it was old news.
Can I ask you though, do you think that actually made it easier to be a cop back then?
Well,
Because you weren't under the public scrutiny nonstop. It's got to be hard today.
I wouldn't phrase it as being hard under public scrutiny. I think any professional officer, deputy, constable, whatever he may be, firefighter, you name it,
Yeah.
any professional is going to conduct himself in the line of duty if he's by himself or if the public is watching.
Right.
I read an article 25 years ago where it mentioned the difference between law enforcement, honesty, and the ministry. Mm-hmm. And it said less than 0.5% of police officers are in situations that are questionable.
Less than 0.5%. They just get all the attention.
And that
now.
is less than what ministers are. So
But when it happens, it's high profile.
it
becomes high profile.
It's not so much the change in law enforcement itself. Now, I mentioned the crimes are about the same. I will say that probably now there's certainly more drive-by shootings than what we had back then.
Yeah.
But that's about the only thing.
I think with the police and ministers, I think that it's the position of trust.
It is exactly that.
You're held to a higher standard.
It is, and should be. It
Yeah.
should be. Things are coming to light. locally even,
Yes.
as well as nationally.
And it disturbs us when it happens.
Disturbing. And these are the people you should trust.
Yeah.
So I think that any police officer, any law enforcement officer that's conducting himself in a professional manner, and he takes an oath when he comes out of that academy. If he lives by that oath and he tries to do what he knows is right, he will conduct himself the same way in public view as he does in private. So, but any profession, no matter what it is, you still have human beings in that organization. And until God makes robots, we're all going to be human.
Or makes humans perfect, which is never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. There's going to be people who will fail. So any profession has
Every human being is capable of failing.
That was fail. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Did working in a large city prepare you for working as a chief of police and a?
That's an interesting question, Vanessa. When I retired from the Houston Police Department, I stayed retired 2 whole days before I took the job here in Dayton as a chief of police. I visualized in my mind that this was going to be Andy of Mayberry.
You were in for a rude awakening.
I was in for a rude awakening. I found out rather quickly that at that time we had a narcotics problem in Dayton coming from outside of Dayton. We had some other issues that paralleled what I had just left in Houston.
Was this like the 80s or what
It was
year?
1984.
1984.
I retired in 1984, took this job in 1984 as chief of police.
And you took over before, it was before Pete Dozier, right? You were the one before Pete Dozier.
I was before him. I was.
Is that after Bean? Chief Bean,
No,
or-
it was before Bean.
That was before
Yeah.
Bean.
Chief
The
Chief Waring?
Chief Waring wanted to retire.
What was Chief Waring's first name? I'm putting you on the spot.
You are putting me on the spot.
Chief Waring, and then you came in after
Then
Chief
I
Waring.
came after
Okay.
that. I was actually, at the time, some people here in Liberty County approached me about running for sheriff of Liberty County.
Yeah.
And I was actually in the sheriff's race and had been for a couple of 3 months. To hear Joe tell it, her hair was falling out because of the tension that was
Stress.
involved and stress. And some people came to me and asked me to drop out of the sheriff's race and accept the chief of police job here in Dayton. So we talked to our supporters, and after a couple of weeks, we decided to drop out of the sheriff's race, and I did accept the chief's job.
Was O.J. Stewart running at that time, or was that
No,
Appleby?
Sonny Appleby.
It's Sonny
Sonny
Appleby.
Appleby.
He was running, and
Stewart followed him.
that was later on. It
Okay.
was later on.
Yeah.
So when I became chief here in Dayton, it was a rather small department. They shut down at midnight, and everything rolled over to the sheriff's office, and they would start running the calls. Well, I had a fantastic mayor, a fantastic city manager, and a great bunch of city councilmen.
Who was the mayor back then?
Moyer.
Moyer.
And I mentioned to him, I says, I'd like to make this a 24/7 police department, a real police department. So bless their hearts, they were good enough to not only allow me to hire more officers, more dispatchers. We went 24 hours, 7 days a week, just like any police department. We improved our training. I wrote a training manual. We updated so many things, including the uniform, the insignia on the car, and things began to operate more like a true police department. I will tell you this. We had one city councilman. Of course, we had to rely on the sheriff's office to run registrations and criminal histories on computer, because we didn't have one. So I asked city council for a computer. And one of the city councilmen, bless his heart, his exact comment, we don't need one of them new fang-dangle machines in our police department. Well, fortunately, the council saw it differently. We did get the computer.
We got
the new fang-dangle machine and learned to operate it, and we started becoming a true police department 24/7.
And so then, how long were you here before you left that and went to the sheriff's office? You had a break, didn't you, between them?
I did. I formed my own private investigation company.
Okay.
But I stayed a reserve at that time with San Jacinto County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
And I did their handwriting analysis
Was
for
Lacey Rogers there at the time?
He was. Rogers
Oh,
was
I
the
love
sheriff.
Lacey Rogers.
Lacey was a fine man. He ran a good agency there. I didn't stay out long, came back when Sheriff, well, actually, it was, I guess, 2000 when Greg Arthur was elected sheriff. He asked me to be his chief. I went on board with chief with him. And then when...
And that's when you got to deal with me as
that's
PIO.
when I first met Vanessa.
He was a public information officer, so anytime something happened...
actually, public information officer came along with Sheriff Rader.
Oh, well, you got stuck with it as a captain or chief deputy?
At times I would address it, but there was no true designation as a public information officer until Sheriff Rader came
Well, he was
along.
my go-to guy either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
you and Don Nealon, I guess who worked-
Chief Nealon was a great chief while he was there, and we had some departmental changes that came in. Things were changed around, but it's been a fantastic trip with the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. It really has.
Yeah, I can think of few people that have had such a lengthy and storied law enforcement career in Liberty County.
Well, I've been blessed. I've been fortunate. I've worked with some fantastic people, and any degree of whatever I may have been involved in, it wasn't because of me. It was because of the people working with me. Trust me. It's those people there that you can depend on.
Now, you were hired on when Greg was sheriff, and you stayed when Henry was sheriff, right?
I did. As
and
chief.
then you stayed. Did you stay? You stayed with Rader.
And when
Bobby Rader.
Sheriff Rader came in office, he first asked me. He says, "I'm looking for a captain of patrol division."
Yeah.
I said, "Sheriff, I really hope you find him." I said,
"That's not you."
I would. I've been there, done that. If you have something else, I would be most interested. So he was gracious enough. By the time I did semi-retire from the sheriff's office, I was under, I had 11 different organizations, units under me. And Public Information Officer was one of them. Of course, Honor Guard, Crime Stoppers, Reserves,
Mounted Patrol.
Mounted Patrol, so many others. Even had the drone operation under me, aviation, because when I was with the Houston Police Department in 1977, I took command of the helicopter division there as captain, division commander, and pilot.
Yeah.
And
do you fly helicopters?
I have a commercial rating in helicopters.
How did I not know that?
I don't know. I went to helicopters, and one of the officers came in and says, "Captain, says, I know you're new out here, and be glad to tell you what's going on, and I'll handle it for you." And I said, "No, I don't really work that way. I want to know what's going on." So I went through flight training, and they instructed me. I got my commercial rating as a helicopter pilot. I have probably 1,500 hours of flight hours, but that's nothing compared to those patrolmen. They have multi-thousands of hours because they fly patrol day and night.
Yeah.
And I flew the desk most of the time, but when we were shorter pilots, I would take a patrol flight or a photo flight for something like that. So.
Now, when you were working for the sheriff's office, you became the liaison for the Texas EquuSearch.
I did.
An organization founded by Tim Miller.
And I still am, as a matter of fact. Have been a member, Joe and I have been a member of Texas EquuSearch now probably 15 to 18 years.
Wow.
And I was on the board of directors at one time. I've been an instructor for them, and certainly have been on multiple searches. Went to the Bahamas one time on a search for them.
Was that for the young lady that was murdered?
No, that was a different
different
country.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was an airplane crash.
Okay.
In off the Bahamas.
Okay.
And we went there, and it was financed not by Texas EquuSearch because they operate strictly on donations.
Yeah.
And this was paid for by the sister of the pilot who was lost in that plane crash.
So, are there any Texas EquuSearch cases that stand out in your mind that you just, sometimes when you're going through things in your brain, it just kind of pops up that.
At last count, we have had 27 searches here in Liberty County that Texas EquuSearch has assisted on. And I've worked both sides of the fence on that, both with law enforcement and with Texas EquuSearch. It's difficult to pick one more so than another, but there was one that happened that is maybe hard for some people to even think that would happen. A small child, barely able to walk, was missing from his home.
Is that the one up in Sam Houston Lake Estates?
Close to it. And
that one stayed with me too.
the searches, now this was many years ago. The searchers went out and found an opening in a fence, went through the opening in the fence, and found this little baby barely alive, leaning up against a tree with only a diaper and socks on. And the socks were dirty at the bottom. Long story short, the mother had sent the child in the woods on her own, on purpose, to get rid of the child.
Oh gosh,
The,
that's a different one than the one I'm remembering.
the investigation further concluded that she had done this on purpose. The child was picked up by Texas EquuSearch, taken by vehicle immediately to the hospital. And the good news is that 2 days later, the little child was pulling a little red wagon down the hallway of the hospital, recovered completely.
And not going back to his mother, I would hope.
Not going back to his mother. That kind of an incident does stick with you. This was several years ago, but those kind of situations. And then you have the others, like I say, that here in Liberty County, that
Little baby that drowned at Sam Houston Lake Estates.
drownings, multiple drownings,
Yeah.
a plane crash in the Trinity River, where the bodies were later recovered from the plane. A multitude of them here, and there are so many. Texas EquuSearch has probably recovered well over 450 missing individuals, and probably some 212 that are still alive. They were either Alzheimer victims that had wandered off and later wound up in a hospital, or were found somewhere along the way.
I've been a part of one of those, but it didn't end well. I'll just say
Some of
San
those
County.
do not.
And he literally was found right where we were walking. And they'd gone by him multiple times and not seen him leaning up against a tree. He had died from the cold.
That happens. And the one you're talking, the one you have reference to, I remember it
Remember
as well.
that one?
It's, the child got
you're
up
talking
and
about
wandered out of the
Lake Estates,
house and walked down to a pier. And at that time we had not had rain in quite a while. And there was a green fungus on the lake. And this little boy walked out on the pier, apparently thinking this green fungus was grass, and jumped into that green muck. And of course he was drowned immediately.
And that was an alligator infested area.
We used a drone on that search.
That was a drone, yeah.
We used a drone on that search, and the little boy had on a red shirt, and it picked up a red dot in the water. We sent searchers to the red dot and pulled the body from it. 30 feet from the body was also an alligator headed towards his little boy. Had we been 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes
Wouldn't
later,
have ever found him.
we had never found him.
Yeah, I wish that would have had a
Sad.
better ending. They had also, I remember that I ended a press conference that same day because they were questioning the mother and stuff, and I asked her if she'd lost other children in previous custody cases, and she just turned around and walked away, and that was the end of the press conference.
Well, I can understand why she would have done that.
Yeah.
And that was purely an act of God. There was someone, the father of the boy.
Yeah.
Someone came to him and said, "Let's pray that we find that body." For some reason, they sent him over to me, and we knelt down by a Texas EquuSearch building, and we prayed that we would find that child. And less than 15 minutes later, we found him.
Well, God listens to prayers for
He
sure.
does. He certainly does.
Well, you have spent decades helping people on some of the worst days of their lives. Do those experiences make you cynical in any way, or more optimistic, or do they change you?
It makes you more cautious.
Okay.
It makes you more cautious. I think that would be a better word, because my first night on the street in Houston, I thought when the sun rose the next morning, Ken DeFoor would have erased all the crime in Houston. A very rude awakening. It didn't happen then, and it's still there. So to make you cynical, I was totally shocked and surprised at a lot of the things I saw.
Yeah.
I didn't even know existed. And that's one reason I kind of take with a grain of salt and almost with pity when I hear people comment about, well, the police should have done this, or they should not have done this, or this should have been, and they haven't spent a single second in a patrol car, especially not in the front seat,
Right.
perhaps the back seat. And it would be like me going out to NASA trying to tell those scientists how to put a man on the moon. I would feel totally ridiculous, uninformed and misinformed on how to do that.
Yeah.
The difference is I know that I'm not capable of making those decisions and judgments of what they do. And it would seem that some people would think, well, I don't really know what goes on out there. I've never been there.
Yeah.
I've never lived it. You have to live it to know what it's like. You have to live it.
Yeah. It's hard to get it just from a bird's eye view.
You can't get it from a magazine, a book, a
No.
newspaper. The smell, the emotions, the things that go on at that moment, you can't duplicate it. You have to live the moment.
Yeah, there's so much that they deal with. I've been out to scenes where people were found dead inside a house, and people have been looking for them, and and it is the smell. It's everything, and it's the stuff that law enforcement deals with regularly. I don't know how they get through it without it changing them.
Well,
I have a very limited exposure to it, and it's still think about it.
Well, name me one other profession besides law enforcement. Name me any profession besides law enforcement where you don't have to put on a bulletproof vest when you step out the door or put a pistol on your hip, because there are people out there who want to kill you because of the job that you have, and that job is to protect their life and property.
Yeah.
So name me any profession where you don't have to go to work wearing a bulletproof vest and wearing a pistol to protect your own life. There's not one.
Yeah.
So do officers become hardened? They become more cautious. I can
Yeah.
promise you that. More suspicious. If an officer walks up to a traffic violator with his hand on his pistol, he doesn't know that person in that car. And there's been a lot, especially of state troopers, shot in situations like that. So it gives you a different perspective on the world. It does.
Yeah, I mean, you are a target, whether you like it or not. I'm trying to think of the name of the officer. Was it Goforth or something that was executed while he was getting gas by someone?
Yes, I believe you're right.
Was it
I think
Goforth?
Was that Harris County?
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right.
I was trying to remember his name, but I just remember that just stayed with me because he's just doing an ordinary thing while getting gas, and it was just...
Well, the uniform is meant to be noticeable.
Darren Goforth. That's who it was.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Yep, Darren Goforth. And I remember that incident. That's been it's been a while, but...
That's why you find most officers, when they go into a restaurant, they'll sit at the back table with their back to the wall.
So that you can watch everything.
They can watch everything coming
Yeah.
in the front door. It's a phenomena. It's something that you just do.
Yeah.
But in order to fully understand it, and I
Yeah.
hate to sound repetitious,
You got to live it.
you've got to live it.
Yeah. And if you can't live it, then at least have some appreciation for it.
And if you can't live it, you have no right to wear that badge.
Right. But I mean, it's like if I can't go do the cop job, the police officer's job. So I at least I should maybe try to have some understanding and respect for it.
You would think so. You would think so.
So looking back, what's been the most rewarding moment of your career? There's been a lot of moments, I'm sure.
I guess if you want to narrow it down to one thing, you just hope and pray that through these years, you have in fact abided by and adhered to that oath of office that you took when you first began your career.
Mm-hmm.
If I've done nothing else, if I've helped some people along the way, if I've helped a young officer, even one time, that's what it's about. It's about helping people. It really is. And I just want to feel like that, because the instances that we've encountered and that we've seen and done are so many and varied that, and you think you've never seen it all until you see the next thing. But just adhering to that code of ethics and remaining ethical in what you do and the way you serve the public, that's what it's about. And if you can't do that, you're in the wrong profession.
Let's turn to some handwriting analysis stuff.
Okay.
So I know at times people look at it as a parlor trick, because for you it's just like something that you've done so often. You can just look at it and go, okay, that tells me a little bit about it, a little bit about that person. But what exactly is handwriting analysis in your opinion?
Handwriting analysis, as I mentioned a little earlier, is developed even before you were born. Let me give you a perfect example. I've held classes on this with law enforcement and with junior colleges. And let's take claustrophobia for one example.
Yeah.
In one class I had a female Harris County deputy sheriff. And I asked in here, I says, how many of you in here are claustrophobic? She raised her hand. And I says, you probably, driving down the freeway, you don't want to drive on that inside lane. You want to drive on the outside lane where you have all
Room
this
to go.
room.
Yeah.
She says, that really doesn't bother me on the freeway. But she says, what bothers me is going into the ladies' restroom and sitting in that little bitty stall.
Yes.
I said, let me ask you this. I said, I would venture to say that your mother was in labor for an extended period of time
And
during
that
your
has
birth.
something to do with it?
And she said, you're right. Said almost 16 hours. It was a difficult birth. I said, the reason you're claustrophobic now is because you were locked in that birth canal for such an extended period of time. It registered mentally with you.
Really?
And now that you're
I
an
came out
adult,
feet first. What does that mean?
you're ready to run. You're ready to hit the ground running.
I was a breech baby.
Handwriting is a...
Who knew that would be something, though?
It is.
I get claustrophobic when I go to an estate sale and there's too many people in the room. I'm like, I start just going, oh God, I can't stand to be in here with this many people. There's too many, or in a shopping area where there's too many people. Not for me.
It's like you said, some people look at it as a parlor trick. I did a handwriting analysis for a bank clerk, and they were in correspondence with a friend of theirs in New York.
Yeah.
And the friend in New York said, that's a bunch of hooey, that doesn't work. I told her, I says, have her send me something in writing. So she sent me a 3-page piece of writing. And I did an analysis on it and gave it back to the bank employee, who mailed it back to the writer. And the writer told her friend at the bank, says, tell him to never look at my handwriting again.
Oh.
That he knows more about me than I know about myself.
That's wild.
And it made a believer out of her. It's not a parlor trick.
No, but some people look at it that way, though.
Sure, they do. It's not a parlor trick. It's something that is mandated through our formulation of birth through up until about we're 6 years old. We start absorbing things whether we realize it or not. Certain stroke formations, outgoing personalities, whether they're withdrawn personalities, all of these things are reflected in the style of your writing, the way you start the writing. And I keep saying writing. This pertains to printing as well. The baseline, the slant, all of this is a reflection on your personality.
I have a sister who is right-handed but writes like a left-handed person. And I think it's probably because she was forced to write with her left hand when she wanted to be a left-handed person.
Could very well
because
be.
she does have a left-handed grandson and a left-handed son. I think she has 2 or 3 left-handed grandchildren and a left-handed son. I think that my mom and dad probably made her become right-handed when she naturally was left-handed.
This interferes with the normal mental process of
Yeah.
growing up, because I'll give you just a quick example. On a slant, for an example, slants are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4, either
Yeah.
left or right or vertical. A 3 or 4 right-hand slant is one of these individuals. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say to that car on the back lot, it only belonged to a little old lady that drove it on Sunday. Tell you what I'm going to do, my friend. That's an extreme right slant. An extreme left slant would be a more logical thinker. Let's take a military event. You're commander and you want to take this hill from the enemy. And you've got one of these right-hand slants that says, hey, there's only 300 of them. There's 10 of us. We can go beat them.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to listen to him. You want to listen to this commander that
Who's
has
logically thinking it
left
out.
strength. He's going to say, no, there's too many on that hill. There's too few of us. We will wait until tomorrow. Now, that's your left slant rider. That commander is level-headed thinking. Those come through on attorneys,
Yeah.
doctors, people like that. Normally has a vertical to a left-hand
I'm more
slant.
vertical.
You're a more logical thinker,
Yeah.
then. You're a more logical thinker. And for your career field, that stands to reason that you
Yeah.
would be.
I'm vertical. But it's half print, half cursive.
Well, that's a very, very broad-minded individual that can look at both sides of the situation. It's a good trait. It's a good trait.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I can't change it.
We can always hope for the best.
I can't change it. So, has there ever been a case where you've used handwriting analysis to help with a criminal conviction of someone? Many times?
Several of them.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones was when I was a reserve, the San Jacinto County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah.
I don't know how explicit you want to get on these
Yeah.
interviews. I'll try to modify it as much as
Yeah.
possible. But
What case was it? Maybe I'll remember some of it.
Well, it was a case where a car was found burned up. They took the
Is this
thought it was
Natasha?
and it was as the car cooled down in the wrecking yard, they opened the trunk and found a female body in the trunk.
Is this one that was missing for a while? It was,
No,
No, that's a
wasn't.
different one.
It was all
Okay.
in one night. But there was an older man, an elderly man, that had a drug and beer party for teenagers
yeah.
there in San Jacinto County. And a 24-year-old female showed up. The man tried to make advances. She refused. The next morning they found the car out here burned and her body in the back of the car. The law enforcement took written statements from everyone that was at that party that night.
Was that Natasha Ashley?
I don't remember the name. That's been many years ago.
Because it would have been, she was 19?
I don't remember the name. It's been many years ago.
Is that her?
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know.
Because she had gone to a party. It happened in 1992. Does that sound about right?
About.
Yeah.
And so the daughter of this man was there as well. Mm-hmm. And handwriting was taken from everyone. And through the handwriting, I asked the sheriff and the investigators, I said, you do know that this man has these other quirks about him, do you not? And they said, well, we knew about it, but how'd you know about it?
From his handwriting.
And I says, this stroke formation here, this stroke formation here tells me that he has these other indicators.
And you say quirks, do you mean like
I'd
psychopath?
rather not go into it.
Okay. But I mean, can you tell a psychopath sometimes by their handwriting?
You can.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's got to be scary when it comes across.
Well, you know, you're not a doctor.
Yeah.
And many times, and there's another thing, graphology is what it's called.
Yeah.
There's such a thing called graphotherapy, and I know just about enough about that to be dangerous. But there are people who are well versed in graphotherapy.
Yeah.
That can look at your handwriting and say, I see this here, and I'm not a doctor, but why don't you go have an MRI done of your head?
Oh.
There may be something on the left side of your brain that they would want to look at.
Really?
And it's come about that there would be tumors there or some illness that a graphotherapist could pick up in handwriting. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
I know just enough about that to be dangerous.
Do you know what's weird though? You know, I'm sitting here trying to think the last time I actually wrote something down by hand, because all my stuff now is done typing. I can type 90 words a minute. And so I take my iPad to Commissioner's Court or wherever I'm going, and I type the whole thing. I don't take notes anymore. So
What about your phraseology?
oh
The
yeah.
way you use certain words,
Yes.
certain ways,
Yes.
certain sense. That's also an indicator right there.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Okay, well, let's see. So retirement has not really hit for you. I guess it probably never will.
It's going to be retreads. It's not going to be
Retreads.
retirement. I'll just retread and go on and do something else.
Do you still have your old cop car that you had?
I have, and I'll
Tell people what year it is.
It's a 1957 Houston Police car. It is a clone. It's not an original. Joe and I wanted one like I first drove when I came out of the academy, and so we looked around till we found a 57 Plymouth, and we've been blessed enough to ask to lead the Veteran Days Parade from Dayton to
Yeah.
Liberty and then back for a car show each year recently. And
Y'all should participate in the TVE parade every year. Y'all have done it before,
we've
haven't
done
you?
it before.
Yes,
We
sir.
have.
He's also dressed as Batman for the parade. I remember that.
Well, now, in the interest of public safety and national security,
You're not gonna reveal who you
never
are?
reveal the true identity
Oh,
of
I'm
Batman
so sorry. I just identified
or
you.
Captain America
Oh, yeah, you did. Oh, that. Yeah, I
or
remember.
Elvis, for that
Oh,
matter.
Elvis. Yeah, Elvis is still alive, huh?
Still alive.
Living in Dayton, Texas.
Oh, well, close to Kennebec anyway.
Close to Kennebec. I guess that's where y'all live, is close to Kennebec, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Dayton Historical Society, because that's another love of yours.
Absolutely.
So you're very much involved. How did your interest in local history begin?
Well, they came to one of our Rotary clubs one day and gave a presentation. And Joe and I have always been interested in history periodically over time in
Yeah.
different places. But here it is right here at home. So we asked them, I went up and asked the lady that gave the presentation, I said, how do you become a member of your organization? She said, you are a member. You just asked the question.
That's it.
So we became
A
a member.
willingness.
A willingness. And this was probably sometime in the 80s,
Yeah.
late 80s. We've worked with them. As we sit right here today in the old school, Dayton Old School, that used to be a two-room schoolroom.
And it was an antique shop for a while.
It was an antique shop.
Because I bought a bed from here, an old
Did you
iron
really?
bed. Still have it.
Well, it's gone through several hands, and finally the Historical Society bought it, and it was in such bad repair. Where we're sitting now, you could look down and see the ground through the floor.
Yeah.
The Dayton Historical Society,
Has
also
restored
with the
it.
help of the Dayton Rotary Club, came in and started doing a lot of the work itself. We held community fundraising projects to raise the money for it, donations, and it's what you see here today.
Save the building.
Save the building.
Yeah.
The building has been totally restored, and anyone that's interested in Dayton history should come and look through this building. As a matter of fact, Joe and I are going to be working it this coming Saturday from 10 to 2 o'clock. And
Well, this is not coming out until next week, so I guess you'll have to
someone
catch
else
you
will be
another.
here.
Someone else will be here that
Someone else
weekend.
will. And you can look around you and see that there are people of notoriety that have built this
I see that.
town.
Got some old law enforcement uniforms, and
That's mine.
that's actually your old
That's
uniform.
mine. I don't know what you say about somebody that's been around long enough to find themselves in a museum, but that's my uniform.
Well, you're almost 90.
Yep, I am.
Yeah, God's blessed you
90 is
with
nifty.
Yeah, God's blessed you with time.
It has. Certainly
Yeah.
he has. And here's one from our firefighters, mannequins, and uniforms from many of our Dayton citizens. Over here is Joe's hat when she was a reserve officer. We had no female officers with the Dayton Police Department when I came here as chief. We had to use a city secretary to go out and search a female prisoner, or if we went out on raids for warrants to search, we had to use the city secretary. So I put my wife, Joe, my sergeant's wife, and all the female dispatchers through the
Training.
sheriff's office Police Academy. And they came out as full-fledged officers.
You made your wife go through the police academy?
Made her go through. And let me tell you
Poor
this.
Joe.
This is the reason I say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am.
Blink
to
twice
Joe.
if you need help,
She
Joe.
was the best. She outshot everyone in her
I'm not surprised.
academy.
I'm not even
She
surprised.
outshot everyone. That's the reason I say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am
Yes.
to everything. Our marriage is based on 2 words. Yes, dear.
And maybe a touch of fear.
Lots of fear, lots of fear. But that's her cap over there, and the ladies that were all
That's
reserved.
cool.
And there's a tremendous amount of history right here in
I
this
can see
building
it,
of
yeah.
Dayton history.
Yeah.
And Caroline Wadzik is our curator. She does
She's
a
great.
fantastic job
I love
of
Caroline.
rotating this information through here, and it would really be something anyone that's interested in Dayton history to come and look through.
Yeah. If you had any piece of advice for the next generation of law enforcement officers, what would it be?
Above all, stand by your integrity. If you ever lose your integrity, you've lost everything.
That's true. And that's with any profession.
That's with any profession. Do what you say you're going to do. Honor your position. Honor that badge. Honor your responsibility to the public. And above all, maintain your ethics throughout everything.
What do you hope your legacy will be?
I don't know if I have a real legacy. I've tried to help people through my career, through law enforcement, even through these antique car clubs that we're in, through various functions that we do. If I can ever help somebody or be of service or give advice that maybe will help them just a little bit, or just be a shoulder to lean on or to listen to, I'm here. I guess in my high school yearbook, they told us to put something under all of our pictures.
What'd you put?
I put under my picture that the greatest gift on earth is a true friend.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can be a true friend, and I'm not talking about a fair weather friend, a true friend, what more is there? There's nothing greater than that.
I'm blessed with true friends, so I understand. Well, I end all these with fun rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And they're just like, you just give a simple response. Favorite restaurant in Liberty County?
Oh, you're going to make somebody mad
Yeah,
now.
that's okay. You can name one or two.
Okay, we like Mike's. We like Ann's Seafood.
Steak and seafood.
The steak and
Oh,
seafood
out on
out on
Highway 90?
Yes, and
Yeah.
those 3, yeah, probably our favorites.
Okay.
And of course, the Main Street Cafe in right here in Dayton.
Favorite book?
The one I like the most that I've read years and years ago is The Voyage of the Kontinki. That was a raft that someone built, and they traveled across the ocean in it.
Wow.
It took so much nerve to even
TV.
build it and do
Oof.
something like that.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
crazy. Favorite historical figure that you would like to have lunch with?
Wow. I think maybe I would like to have lunch with General Patton.
Oh, that's a great one.
He is.
Yeah, that's a great one.
He did so much for this country. He was iconic. He made some very difficult decisions, but he brought this country through a very difficult time, as did Douglas MacArthur.
Yeah, I interviewed some World War II veterans years and years ago for a special section that I did for a newspaper, and one of them had worked with General Patton.
Really?
And they were required to wear, even if they were like walking through the worst area, they were required to have their ties on, and he got chastised by General Patton for not having his uniform right as they were out there fighting a war.
Well, that's another one of my little idiosyncrasies. A uniform is called a uniform for one reason.
Because it looks like
It's uniform.
Yeah, it's uniform.
Everybody should
Yeah.
wear the same uniform.
Yeah.
So yes, I can agree with that.
Hidden talent?
Me?
Yeah.
It is so well hidden, I probably don't even know where
Is he a
it's at.
singer or something, Joe?
In the shower.
All of my brothers could play every musical instrument picked up.
Did you get missed?
No, they bought me guitars.
Oh.
And I would rather play cowboys and Indians and pick the guitar when I was
Yeah.
young. And recently, I've still got those guitars. Recently, I've picked up the guitar
And started playing?
and started trying to learn. I think I started too late,
Well,
but
it's never
who
too
knows?
late to learn something
Who knows?
new,
Who
right?
knows?
Biggest pet peeve.
People, and I touched on this while we were interviewing. Because I've been in law enforcement so long, my favorite pet peeve is people commenting about what should or should not have been done when they have no experience whatsoever and are not familiar with the situation. They weren't there. They didn't live it.
Right.
So that's kind of my pet peeve.
If somebody made a movie about your life, who would you want to play you? Don't say Brad Pitt now. That's
You do ask some difficult questions.
it's funny. They're meant to be fun and funny.
Do they
at
have
the
to
end.
be present actors, or they could
They
be
can be.
past?
They can be past.
Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, Jimmy Stewart's a great one. He also was a military veteran too.
He is. And I've got a little story about Jimmy Stewart.
Did you ever meet him?
Well, my mother said I did.
Oh,
For 1 year,
Lucky.
my mother and I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas. And there are springs in Arkansas called Hot Springs. That's the reason Hot Springs, Arkansas. And movie stars used to come there.
Mm-hmm.
My mother tells me that we were downtown one day and Jimmy Stewart was there on the sidewalk visiting these hot springs.
yeah.
And struck up a conversation with him. And she invited him to our house for dinner. He came to our house and had dinner with us.
Okay, now I'm really jealous.
Well, so am I, because I don't
You
even
don't remember it.
I was so young. You know, celebrity didn't mean much to me at that age.
I was
But
enamored
according-
with John Wayne.
John Wayne. John
Yeah.
Wayne would be a tremendous one. John
Yeah.
Wayne and Jimmy Stewart's probably two of the most elite. And
Yes.
you know, that's one thing about those
American,
actors.
just
Yeah.
good American actors.
Probably one question you haven't asked me
What you say?
is if I had an alternate career.
Oh, that's one on here.
Is that on there?
Yes, it is.
It would have been an actor.
Acting. Okay, that's different. I would not have suspected that.
Well, we've
I would have
been-
said firefighting or something else.
We've been in 5 movies. Goldie Hawn.
Oh, that's
we,
right.
We did one with her.
I don't remember
where
what
I
the name of
an
that one
extra.
was.
The one with Goldie Hawn was called,
This is,
help me out on this.
I'm trying.
Yeah. And then oh gosh.
So you've been an extra on 5 different movies?
Yeah, and what they want to do is use my
Car.
57 Plymouth.
Yeah.
And those are magnetics on there, so they can pull the magnetics off and stick vinyl or whatever. And
But you're like, I don't trust just anybody to drive my car.
Well, that's the thing about it. Somebody there in Hollywood has my name on a Rolodex or whatever, and if they do a period film, they'll call me and say, we need 10 cars, 20 cars of the 50s era. Well,
Yeah.
that's what happened here.
Yeah.
I got a call, and so I submitted our car, our 57 Plymouth police car, and some other gentleman presented a 57 Chevrolet, and Goldie Hawn picked ours for whatever reason. And so many of the car owners bring their cars out there and say, here's our car, call us when you're finished with it. Well, I don't do that. We've got too much invested in our car. So
Was it Hope?
Hope. There you go. Thank you. So to
I looked
appease
it up.
So to appease me, they put a uniform on me and I drive the car. You can't say anything. It's highly unionized.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
so we've done one with Goldie Hawn and Hope, and she actually directed that. She didn't act in it.
Is it a good movie?
It's well, we thought it was a good movie. It's a period film. It's about integration. The little star of it, 14 years old at that time,
Gina
Malone. She's an adult now, and she's in several movies.
My memory of Goldie Hawn when I was younger was from The Duchess and the Dirtwater Fox.
Oh, yeah.
And I memorized her saloon song, and it was like, please don't touch my plums. And it's become a family favorite for Vanessa to perform in front
really?
of all the
Well,
family
can we
members.
see that now?
No, it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate, but my kids think it's funny. And
Well,
so,
I
and
can-
as a little 10 or 11-year-old kid, it was on VHS tape. And so I sat there and rewound it, and I wrote down all the lyrics and memorized them.
I'd love to see that.
And my mother, I'll tell you after the interview.
I think Bluebonnet News would be a wonderful place to put
Oh, no, please don't touch my plums. You can imagine. Yeah, but that was my Goldie Hawn memory as a child. But
Well, I can tell you, the Goldie Hawn, her personality off camera is
It's
the same as his.
Yeah.
We did one with Sandra Bullock in
Yeah.
Cold Blood. That
Yeah.
was a play of an
Yeah.
actual
Did you get
case.
to meet her?
Well, no, we didn't. She's different than Goldie Hawn.
Okay.
She went to and from her trailer in a
And didn't have a
black
lot of
limousine.
interaction?
She
Okay.
didn't even talk to the other actors.
Oh.
She came in, she did her lines.
Yeah.
She got back in her limousine, went back to the trailer, and we saw her, but
Not
you
interaction.
didn't interact with
No.
her too much.
Yeah. So this is the last question.
Okay.
Liberty County is. Finish that sentence.
Liberty County is the most fantastic place in the world to live. It really is. The community, the people, the cities. When people are hurting, the community comes together to help them. I was born and raised in and around Houston. People don't know you from Adam there. Here, families know each other. They help each other. Liberty County is just a wonderful place to live. Would not want to live anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, Ken and Joe, thank you for joining me today. Ken, thank you for sharing your stories and your experiences.
My privilege and my pleasure. Thank
I've
you.
enjoyed being your friend for all these years. I'm not going to say how long it's been because that ages me too. But I want to thank everyone for listening to another episode of Headlines and Heartlines. Be sure that you subscribe to the podcast, which are posted on YouTube. They are also shared on KILE Radio in Cleveland. And be sure to follow Bluebonnet News on Facebook. And thank you all for staying with us for this episode, and I'll see you next time.